Welcome to my channel, INTJ Island. Today, I'm going to talk about an INTJ's anger at ignorance. I want to discuss something that I noticed the other day after replying to a comment on one of my videos. It made me stop and think back, and I remembered other events over time where the same sort of thing had happened. When people get emotional and call me names, that shows me they have no substance to their point of view, and I tend to write them off as unfortunate, ignorant human beings who are intellectually lost at sea. Normally, I find more humor in that than anything else. However, what surprised me with the aforementioned comment was that I found my emotions rising up and getting involved when my ability was challenged. I discovered my objectivity and detachment was lost for a moment, and rather than working on the point in question, I went after the entire package of underlying ideas that I have spent a good part of my life studying and analyzing, and have found to be utterly wrong. Suddenly I was going after the entire worldview with a sword, when there was just one particular point I should have been focused on. I was angry at the lack of understanding that was coming from the other party, and I wanted to fix it. However, the more I thought about this, the more I realized that it was my own ignorance that I was angry at. I had been in the same position as the other party at one time and had the same mistaken ideas back then. I had to work very hard to dig into the problem to reach understanding, and for a moment I was facing my old self, and I wanted to grab my own shoulders and give them a shake and say, "Don't be stupid. This is wrong, and you would know it was wrong if you considered this point and that one." I realized I was arguing with myself and included the very arguments that I knew I needed to hear years ago when I was on the wrong mental path. When it comes to worldviews, I don't care if someone else holds one that is far different from my own. I think that a basic tenet of the concept of freedom requires that you be allowed to be wrong or even stupid in what you believe. If you are only free to be politically correct or to have orthodox views, you are not free at all. That is intellectual tyranny. If you are required to have only ideas that the majority or the consensus accept as valid, you are oppressed by definition. This is why I pointed out in my Flat Earth video that I don't approve of even soft censorship of the pro-Flat Earth channels, even though I am completely certain they are wrong. If you oppress ignorance, you just push it underground where there is no hope of reaching it through education, discussion, or debate. One term that is completely disgusting to me is the term denier, that idiots toss around to try and shut people up. If someone calls you a flat earth denier, it makes you sound like you are a dirty little man who has to hide in a closet to cover up your beliefs. You deny something that everyone knows is true. That is a political tactic that is in common usage by the media today. It is not reason, it is not argument. It is a political act intended to attack the people who hold a view that those who are presenting things to the masses do not like and want to squash. It makes a certain point of view appear, without any counter-argument being presented, as being wrong and even evil. Anyone who questions, researches, or presents evidence against the protected point of view is castigated and attacked, simply by labeling him as a denier. I have found it to be beneficial for my own peace of mind, and in order to maintain my own freedom of thought, to move away from the mainstream propaganda mill and to simply ignore the noise as I pursue my own ideas. On a daily basis, this works rather well. I can read, research, think, and evaluate things as I move forward. However, occasionally I run into something or someone who makes me stop and take the noise into consideration. Suddenly I am faced by someone who asserts things that I have evaluated and found to be wanting and in error. The event that got me thinking about this topic began by an assertion that I had failed to consider something. Normally I would take that as another way of asking if I had considered it, but for some reason this time I took it literally, and my introverted feeling stepped forward to do what it does. The point was one that I was extremely familiar with and had considered extensively. The assertion was wrong, but why did it trigger my emotions? It hit me, after the fact, that I was not angry with the one who had made the assertion. I was facing myself because I had at one time embraced that assertion and over the years I had worked out why it was completely devoid of value. I found myself replying, as I would have to myself of many years ago, running through a wide array of ideas and facts that would show why that idea was utterly wrong, from a deeper level of understanding, rather than simply facing the assertion itself. The mature INTJ mind is like kinetic energy, where you have raised a weight high above the ground and it hangs there until the cable is cut, and the weight falls to the ground with a crash. All the things that I have worked through and found answers to are there waiting. I didn't acquire them in order to drop them on top of someone who is ignorant. I put all that work into furthering my own understanding, not to attack other people's ignorance. But if someone does something to trigger my introverted feeling, it is possible that I find myself cutting up their position like minced meat with what I know to be true. In the past, I have verbally backed people up against the wall intellectually and continued to bombard them with facts and reasons why their positions are wrong, to the point where the other party has threatened to punch me. Only then did I realize what I had done. I had treated that other party as I would treat myself if I were having an internal argument about the topic. Internally, when it becomes clear that an idea is untenable and can't be legitimately defended, the part of my mind that was attempting to defend it relents, and my mind moves on to the next point. But people are not like part of my brain that I am debating with. They often are unable to see any other point of view, and they will stand their ground, even against overwhelming evidence against their position. And my natural response to that is to bring out even more evidence and more reasons why their position is utterly wrong. I know better. I really do. After all these years of living around people, I know that reason, evidence, and logic doesn't matter to most people, especially on topics related to religion and politics. Knowing this shows me that it is irrational to try and force evidence, reason, and logic upon someone who is incapable of using it constructively. But feelings are not rational. And when I find that I have been letting my emotions control my actions, even though my actions have been centered on reason and logic, I want to hang my head in shame. I truly hate it when that happens. When I invest my time and effort into something that I know before I even start will fail, I do feel shame. Even worse, not only did I waste my time and the time of the other party, I am almost certainly going to offend the other party and create unnecessary negative feelings within him. What he believes, no matter how wrong it might be, doesn't matter to me, as long as he doesn't try and force it upon me. So why do I do it? I like to think that all those decades I spent digging myself out of the ignorance that was forced upon me as a child are behind me and have only made me stronger. I think generally that is true, but it is not entirely true. There are still weak spots that have been left behind, where I am still angry way down inside at how stupid and gullible I was at that time. It is unreasonable because it was not willful ignorance, and it does not merit anger or shame. Completely trusting others you love and respect with deciding what you will believe to be true is not inherently evil, but it is inherently dangerous. That is one of the lessons I have learned over the years. And yet, I find that someone else can make a statement that finds its way into one of those weak spots where I have not yet fully come to peace with my own past stupidity, and I find myself going after not the other party, but that old iteration of me who was ignorant and needed to be shown the error of his position. The next thing I know, I have gone through an entire dissertation on the facts, evidence, and reasons why that position is completely indefensible. Why do I want to keep my emotions under control? If I were driven by them, I would be in a constant state of debate and verbal attack on the stupidity and ignorance that saturates the world around me. It would do no good, and it would alienate every sheep who is within the hearing of my voice. It is clear to me that people don't want to know the truth about the really important things. They want to fit in with the herd and to appear normal. They are content with lies as long as they don't make waves. By keeping my emotions in check, I can listen to people spouting nonsense and not go off on them, and simply go about my business. I can live my life in peace and enjoy the things I can discover and learn. All is well. But when those sneaky feelings get loose, they're like a dog that gets out of the fence and starts chasing cars or people on bicycles. That is not good at all. Do you have this problem? What is the best method you have of dealing with it? Please let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please click like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. If you click on the bell, you will also receive notifications when I put up a new video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.